When it comes to walking for getting lean, most people make the mistake of assuming walking is only for beginners, just a way to get off the couch. But walking is actually one of the smartest tools for getting to 10% body fat and staying lean long term, especially if you're already lifting weights and know the basics of nutrition. It's what kept me at 10 to 15% body fat now for over a decade, and it's what I've used as a coach to help over 1,000 men lose fat and keep it off. And in this video, I'll show you examples why I think walking isn't just helpful, but essential if you want to get lean and not suffer through the process. So one of the biggest issues holding people back from losing fat is that our bodies actively work against it. If you ever lost significant weight before, you felt it. The body adapts. You're forced to cut calories lower and lower, and eventually you end up being low energy, mentally drained, no libido, uncontrollable hunger, constant cravings, losing strength in the gym, and the whole routine falls apart. This is one of the reasons why so few guys ever get to 10% body fat. And that's also where I've seen walking change everything. When you adopt a high step count lifestyle, all the things that I just mentioned improve and getting lean becomes easier. Let me show you what I mean. Let's take two guys at 200 pounds and 24% body fat who want to get to 10% body fat for their 40th birthday. And to do that, they need to lose around 30 pounds of fat. First, we have Joe, a software developer who spends most of his day glued to the desk. He averages 3,000 steps without really thinking about it. Plus, he goes to the gym 3 times per week. To maintain his 200 pounds of body weight, Joe eats around 2,500 calories a day. So to start losing a pound a week, he has to create a 500 calorie deficit and drop his calories down to 2,000 per day. Then we have Chris. Chris is an accountant and his job is also sedentary, but he took my walking advice to heart. He intentionally walks 10,000 steps a day on top of lifting 3 times per week. Because of that higher step count, Chris can maintain 200 pounds at around 3,000 calories. So to create the same 500 calorie deficit, Chris gets to eat 2,500 calories per day. So the same goal of losing a pound a week, same number of workouts, but as you'll see, these guys are going to have a very different experience. Now, going from 24 to 10% body fat typically happens in 3 phases. Phase 1 is getting under 20% body fat, phase 2 is getting under 15% body fat, and phase 3 is burning off those last few pounds of stubborn belly fat and love handles to hit a true 10% body fat with fully visible abs. Now in phase 1, neither Joe or Chris notice a huge difference. As they stick to their calorie targets, track their food intake, get around 170 grams of protein a day, weigh themselves regularly, the first 15 pounds come off without major issues, and both complete phase 1 and reach around 18% body fat successfully. Hunger has been manageable, sleep has been good, and up until this point, everything has been working well for both of them. But in the middle of phase 2, as they push toward 15% body fat, Joe is starting to struggle. His weight hit a plateau and is barely going down. Naturally, Joe does what most people do. He drops his calories from 2,000 to 1,800 and starts doing 3 intense cardio classes at his gym. And you might be thinking 200 calories less isn't a big deal. But for Joe, he was already fairly restricted at 2,000 calories, and this makes things much harder. Eating out has become nearly impossible. He has days where he's not getting enough protein, cravings are through the roof, the intense cardio sessions are leaving him ravenous, and on some days, that ends up causing a few extra snacks that put him over his calories. He's also getting very fatigued and not progressing much in the gym. And overall, he's starting to get very frustrated with the whole process. It's becoming a grind. When I talk to clients, this is exactly the moment between 15 to 20% body fat where many of them gave up in the past. And if you'd like me to coach you through this on your journey, details for that are in the description below. Now, Chris, on the other hand, didn't experience the same hard plateau at around 18% body fat. His weight was still going down, and to keep the same rate of weight loss, he just upped his steps to 12,000 steps per day, started hitting the like button in my videos, and cut his calories down to 2,400 a day. And with that amount of calories, he doesn't feel as limited. He can eat out occasionally and have a holiday meal without derailing progress. He has no problem getting his protein, he's sleeping well, and the extra walking is helping him recover between workouts. Very few people know this, but regular walking promotes something called synovial fluid circulation. Joints like your knees, hips, and shoulders have a synovial membrane that produces a fluid which serves as a lubricant lubricant to reduce friction between your bones during movement. This makes walking one of the best things you can do for your joint health. And if you have existing joint issues, research also shows that walking can reduce joint pain and improve overall mobility. Because of this, Chris is able to train hard and make progress in the gym while losing weight. And most importantly, he's actually enjoying the process because he's seeing results and it feels sustainable. So he drops an additional 9 pounds and is now at 177 pounds at 14% body fat with only 7 pounds to go. While Joe can't seem to get below 17% body fat and is mentally reaching a breaking point. His sleep is starting to get worse. Every diet mistake he makes, he regains weight and turns into a major setback. He also tries going to 1700 calories, and on some days he can push through with a lot of willpower, but then rebounds the next day and overeats. And the worst thing is, because of a low protein intake on a lot of days and losing strength, his physique is starting to look more squishy and skinny rather than lean and athletic. In a nutshell, Joe is completely stuck in phase 2, and while all that suffering is happening, Chris is now well into phase 3 and pushing toward 10% body fat. Because his workouts were going so well, he also has a solid amount of muscle. He can already see his abs and is down to those last 5 pounds of stubborn belly fat, which are covering his lower stomach area. Now, to push through this last bit, Chris goes down to 2,000 calories per day on top of walking 12,000 steps and lifting 3 times per week. And notice one important thing. Chris is officially at the same calorie intake for the last 5 pounds of fat as Joe was at the start of the diet. Yes, this final push is going to be hard, but he's already so close to the goal. There's no way he's going to give up now. Plus, when you get to 12% body fat and you only have 4 or 5 pounds left to lose, you start seeing visual changes in the mirror every week, and it's very motivating. Joe, on the other hand, is hating every moment of this. Visually, you can see a little bit of his top 2 abs and really good lighting, but for the most part, he's been bouncing between 16 to 18% body fat for the past 2 months. Every time he makes a little bit of progress, there's a holiday or a life event that brings the weight right back, and he's stuck in this yo-yo cycle. And it's only a matter of time before he quits. And with this experience, Joe feels like 10% body fat is completely unattainable, while Chris just hit 10% body fat and can now go to maintenance at 25 to 2600 calories a day. His high step count lifestyle allows him to stay lean while eating more calories than Joe's maintenance was at 200 pounds and 24% body fat. That's the power of walking. And these two scenarios are something I've seen play out time after time. What started off as successfully losing 15 pounds for both ended up being a very different experience because of the domino effect that daily movement triggered. Now, for me, walking isn't just about burning a few extra calories. It's more about building an enjoyable lifestyle I can see myself doing for decades. And this is how it all ties together. Walking wins for practical reasons over other activities. First, I don't even have to schedule extra time for it. For running, I have to plan for it. It's never convenient. There's always some friction. I can combine light walking with work using a standing desk and a small under-the-desk walking pad. It takes almost no effort to get 10 to 12,000 steps per day. Plus, I'm even more focused during meetings and I don't have energy dips after meals. Second, I can make walks a social activity. It's a very natural way to spend quality time together, and it doesn't require a high fitness level. I can take walks with my parents who are in their 60s and my 2-year-old daughter. Third, I'm a big fan of audiobooks and podcasts, and walking is one of my favorite ways to stay up to date with books and research. I retain more information, I find myself learning faster. And even beyond all of that, I feel better every single time I take a walk. I'm more relaxed, I sleep better, and most people underestimate how much daily walking directly improves quality of life. It's not flashy, it's not something extreme or intense to brag about, it's quiet, it's peaceful, and it just works. And that's why I think walking is the king for not just getting lean, but staying lean with a healthy lifestyle long term. It's why I keep coming back to it personally and with all my coaching clients. And if you're interested in a full comparison of walking versus running for getting to 10% body fat, check out this video next, and I'll see you right there.